speak about the mother-in-law. So, question on you. What's your opinion about them? Start like by a common opinion.
Well, it just depends on the family. Yeah, it can go good or bad, and I think that's for any culture, but here in Egypt, I guess it's a bit more challenging for, being a foreigner and marrying into an Arab household. There can be some challenges and some
Mm-hmm.
differences that you have to face. But yeah, for sure depends on the family and the worldliness of the family, and I guess how they were brought up and things like that. That
Yeah.
will determine your experience with them.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it depends also on the education of the people?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, it's
Most
important
definitely.
to say
Yeah.
because a lot of foreigners doesn't think about it, because at least in Europe we do not have it. Simply, if I'm in love with someone, so it doesn't matter if he's like educated or not, it will be fine. Especially in the mother-in-law, we don't think about it. But here it's not like in the Europe. I don't know how it's in America, for example.
Well, I'm on my third marriage, and that makes me on my third mother-in-law. So,
Yeah, which was the best of it and the worst? Let's describe it.
oh, that's really hard. Well, okay, it's easy to tell you the best. That's my current mother-in-law. She's
Okay.
Egyptian, obviously, and she is an angel. And I am so, so, so lucky to call her my mother-in-law because I see what a lot of the friends I have now go through with their mother-in-laws in Egypt, and most of it is hellish, than
Mm.
positive. So, but yeah, she's great. She's amazing. My worst mother-in-law was my second husband's mother, and
Mm.
they were Egyptian as well. She was by far the most craziest woman I've ever met in my entire life.
Okay, I agree because I know your story. So maybe if you can describe a little bit like your story, what happened with her, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Well, her name was Afaf, which is
Okay.
like a very older like name, kind of like I guess the equivalent of like what would be
Yeah,
Ethel
I know
in,
this name. We have this name in my
English.
family also, so I know it very well. Okay. Go.
Yeah, she was extremely difficult from the very first day I met her. She was weird, strangely overprotective of her son to the point where you would think that she wanted to marry him. It
Mm-hmm.
was insane. It was just absolutely insane. I I remember one time she saw me taking a pill. Took a Claritin because I have allergies.
Okay.
She told her son, my ex, oh, she has AIDS. She has AIDS because she's taking pills. Oh, she's got the HIV. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, everyone who takes pills has AIDS. Wow. And
Good
another
opinion.
situation was she was looking through my purse because, she's nosy and has no manners. And she found one of my tampons. And she immediately started screaming and yelling, oh my God, you have a cigar in your purse. It's a cigar. You're smoking. Haram. You're not a good girl. And all this. And
Mm.
then, my ex-husband comes in. He translates to her, what it was. Hey, it's not a cigar. She's
Mm.
not smoking. It's a tampon. She goes in Arabic, oh, what's a tampon? So then he
Yes.
has to explain that. And she's like, oh, still, she's like freaking out. Oh my God, no, she's not a good girl. She's like a whore to have these tampons. And oh, she's not
Yeah.
a virgin and all this. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? What is this hellstorm I'm in?
Mm. That had to be very difficult to read. I don't like this on
She
the
was
Egyptian,
really
like,
difficult.
yeah, on the Egyptian women, anything new they do not know, it's actually like haram. They convert it to haram all the time.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, my ex-sister-in-law of the same family I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you do your laundry in Egypt and you have to hang it outside on the window to dry, like on the
Yes,
line?
yes, sure.
Well, I just done my laundry for the first time. It's like my first week at their house, right? I'm living with the family. Big mistake. Don't do it. Anyone
Yeah.
listening, do not live with your Egyptian husband's family. It's crazy as hell. Don't do it. So anyway, I'm doing my laundry. I'm hanging it up. And she come in there and she's like, what is this underwear you have? I have
Oh my
Victoria's
God.
Secret like G-strings. And
Mm.
she's like, oh, you're such a slut, and you wear this stuff, it's not good, and it's disgusting, you're disgusting. And she started throwing my underwear out the window. I swear to God.
Are you serious? Oh my god, I will kill her. I
Yeah,
swear
and
I
then
will
the little
slap her
boy
in the face right
downstairs,
away. How she
I
can do
wanted
it
to.
that easily? You know, what did you do
They
actually? It's
treated me
interesting.
horribly. I was treated so bad.
But what did
What
you
did I
do
do? I
with
didn't
her?
do nothing.
Nothing? Yeah.
I was like, stairs, who's like the Bowad's son, brought my underwear back up.
Mm,
Didn't do anything to her. I didn't really have to. The
mm.
little boy downstairs, the Bowad's son, brought my underwear back. It was kind of funny. This little 5-year-old bringing me my underwear from downstairs, but
Yes,
okay.
it would be very funny.
And my father, it was, and my father-in-law at the time, he was like the only cool one in the house. He was really easygoing. He spoke English, and he was like the most educated out of the whole
Hmm.
family. So he found out like, what his daughter had done to me, and he, immediately started yelling at her and, addressing the situation. So
It's
I
very,
didn't really have to do anything because he stood up for
yeah,
me. And he did that a lot.
that's good. At least someone. But it's very strange that they didn't even accept that that you are the foreigner one. Like they didn't respect you. They treat you like the Egyptian immediately. Seemed to me.
Yeah, I think the Egyptian would have gotten better treatment. And they had like my mother-in-law had no concept of privacy, like at all. She went through my luggage, she went through my purse.
Mm.
She, would even come in the bathroom when I was using the bathroom. Like,
Oh my God,
what is
really?
that? Who does that?
Oh my
It doesn't stop there.
God. Right.
I would be with my husband.
Uh-huh.
I'd be with my husband in our room, doing our stuff that we do,
Sure.
what you do when you're married.
Yes.
He would come in there. She'd come in there and sit on the bed. I'm like, what, you want to watch? Like, what is that? Like, girl, I cannot even begin to describe to you the
Oh my
horrors
God.
I went through with this woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it got worse. She started taking control of my birth control pills. She would take my pills and come to me every night at the same time with a pill and the water and would give me my pill. It would not leave the room until she made sure I took my pill and drank the whole glass of water with it because she didn't want me to have kids.
Wait, you want to tell me that some Egyptian mother-in-law don't want you to have a kid? It's some interesting.
She did
Why?
not want me to have kids.
Why? Because I know Egyptians
Well,
love to have a
her reasoning,
Hmm?
well, she was actually racist. She hated any non-Egyptian person. And she, told me, well, through my husband, because she only spoke Arabic, was,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to have kids because I want to have Egyptian kids. You need to have another wife. She was always pushing for, you're going to get you another wife and you're going to have Egyptian kids. I want my grandson to be in the army. She was obsessed with the military, and she was a brotherhood supporter, which I did not even realize until I had, you know, divorced him and moved out and like started my life again in Egypt by myself. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I was in. I was with those people.
That's really horrible. Yeah, you had really horrible story. I have to admit it. Oh my God, I can't even imagine this.
Yeah, it was. She tried to kill me on our wedding day.
Yeah, please, say it. I wanted to say it, like really. Hey, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we signed the marriage papers, and actually, I didn't even we didn't even tell her that we were going to go and get married that day because we knew how she would react.
Mm-hmm.
But she found out from my brother-in-law. So she decided to show up there while we're in the middle of, the marriage process. And she started crying to the strangers in Arabic, like around us, saying, "Oh my God, please stop my son from marrying this stupid American girl, this whore. She's such a whore, and he's going to bring whore into our house." Like, she was going around to strangers, making a huge dramatic scene at the Ministry of Justice, like for real. So we
Mm.
ended up getting married. She took the marriage papers from my hand, like snatched the papers from my hand, and then my ex-husband took them from her. And then when we're out into the street from the Ministry of Justice, she pushes me into oncoming traffic, and I almost got hit by a taxi. And the guy gets out of the car and he starts yelling at her, and then she creates like a big scene outside the Ministry of Justice while I'm like freaking out because I nearly got killed. It was really traumatic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like
They always
20,
are.
23, 24, something like that at the time.
Oh my God. I don't know what to
Yeah, it
say, you
was a
know.
circus. Every day with her was a circus.
Yeah, but I feel so sorry for you because this is like one of the worst cases which I ever heard, actually, you know.
uh, she was something. I mean, even just like giving her or just giving her son like a hug in front of her, she would
Mm.
flip out and start screaming at me in the living room and chasing me around the house, like literally chasing me. I'm not even kidding. And she forced me to do the housework. She forced me to like cook with her. Yeah, I was like her slave that she treated like, like
Mm.
shit basically. And it was the worst experience I've ever had with any kind of
Yeah, but
like family member of like
yeah, but
a
you know,
spouse.
this is a very common, I will say, like all the mother-in-law expected that the wife of the husband will do the all housework, you know? Even with Egyptian, I discuss this topic.
Yeah, most, I will say this, yeah, you're right. Most of Egyptians are traditional in this aspect. I mean, sure, they might be okay with, a woman having a career and stuff like that. That's fine, but you're still kind of expected to do the household stuff as well.
Yes. Especially with the mother-in-law from the son. Especially when she had only one son.
Yeah. I will say that my mother-in-law now, she really wasn't so, she's never asked me to help her with a single thing. Like
Mm.
anytime I go to her house, she is just so accommodating. She cooks for us and she
Mm.
cleans up and she does everything and she doesn't ask for help. And, my husband and his family were kind of brought up similar to the way I was and my family was, same kind of mannerisms, where it's like when you have a guest over, you take
Yeah,
care of them.
yeah,
That's,
but you
you don't
know,
ask them to live
I guess that
here.
your husband now is from a very good family and very educated family. You know, it's a little bit different from the previous family you went in.
Yeah, so that's why I stayed single here for like 3.5 years after that experience before I met the right
Yeah,
guy.
I can
Because,
understand it.
I did meet other guys before my husband that I have now. I had met others and I had met their family. But, even if the guy was great, I was not even considering marrying someone who had a psycho family again. I was not going to do that. So that's
Yeah.
why that was a big reason why I was single here for so long after divorcing my ex. And by the way, I was only with my ex with the crazy family for 3 months. That's all I could do. That's literally all I could do. And I'm like, screw this. I'm out.
Mm.
I'm not going to stay here and put up with this anymore.
Okay, so that's my another question. Like, how did you end it actually? And especially, what did she reacted to it?
She was happy to see me go. She
Really?
was really happy. She was not happy with how it went down, though, because I called the police. So
Okay.
she was not happy with that. Yeah. So basically, like, my ex decided that it would be a fun activity for him to hit me because
Mm.
I wanted a divorce because I was tired of him and his mother treating me like horrible. And for him lying to me about saying we're going to live in Egypt and then he changed his mind, after we got married and said, hey, you're going to go to America and you're going to do immigration.
Mm.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're going to go get a job. And I'm like, if I have to get a job, I am OUT. So
It's very nice.
yeah, so he decided to hit me in the face. And, yeah, I hit him back, of course. But then by then,
Good,
my
I support
father-in-law
you.
heard what happened.
Mm.
Yeah, and then he came in and he broke up the fight. But then I had already called the police, and then the police came because he was refusing to let me leave, and he was refusing to give me my passport back. And it's against the law, against international law, to be holding an American passport, against
Yes,
someone's will. Like you can't
true.
do that.
Well,
So
but let's say why, because the American passport is very strong, you know. But you are right, for it's forbidden. But on the other side, he has like your husband, he has rights to do it. Like if you're Egyptian, he can do this with you, and you have to shut up like a woman.
yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Hmm.
because here the Egyptian, like, if they're in a horrible family like that, she's going to rely on her family to get her out of that
Yeah,
kind of situation.
and you was lucky that you're a foreigner because as the Egyptian, you will not be able even to live this way. It will never happen, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That
Mm.
is true because I found out that, he at the time he was divorced and he had an ex with 2 kids. He told me this.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand, like, why did she leave and take the kids? Because he told me that she just disappeared. And after
Okay.
he, started changing and becoming like a monster, I started to slowly realize,
Yeah, you
what have I gotten
understand her.
myself into? And like,
Yes.
I understand now why she left, and good for her that she got her and her kids out of that situation, and no one knows where
Yeah.
she is. Yeah, she don't want to be found.
She was very lucky that she did it.
Yeah, so was I. So he's a psychopath, like him and his whole family, except for the father. He was okay. He was cool and
Mm.
everything, but it's like also at the same time though, he's still responsible for bringing up his kids properly, and he failed to do that. So I'm not going to give him full credit for anything.
Sure, but I really hate the man who is hitting the woman here, and treating her like a slave. I really hate them. It's really showing that they are the uneducated men, and that's the problem in Egypt. That's why I keep repeating over and over that the education is on the first place here, the education and the family.
Yes, and that's a very important way to determine, what kind of man you're seeing, what kind of family you're seeing. And by the way, they weren't like completely ignorant. Like, okay, they all had degrees, and like he was a civil engineer and everything. There's a lot of engineers here, but a lot of people don't realize most Egyptians do have a degree. But just because they have a degree, okay, which college? And did they have
Yeah.
any experience traveling outside of Egypt? Because you can
Hmm.
have a degree all day here, but it might be from some horrible school with a horrible rep, and it's sort of like a meaningless degree. You might even be better getting one online, you know what I'm saying? It has more power. So just
That's
because
true.
someone has a degree here doesn't always mean something.
Yeah, we took it this way, like foreigners, but in the Egypt, they don't think about this. For them, it's important if you are, I don't know, bachelor or doctor, and this is most important.
Yeah.
And they always like, I know that if you're a doctor, so they wanted to marry also a doctor or engineer with engineer, like the same college, the same degree.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think another important aspect is, besides like the education level, the worldliness of the family. My husband's family, they're all very well traveled people. They've been to countless countries, more than me and more than most people I know. So
Yeah,
I think that was
they have the experience from their
yeah,
life
with a
itself.
lot of, and and this is another thing when I ask a lot of women, hey, when they tell me they're seeing a guy, they go, hey, I'm seeing somebody. I'm like, oh yeah, well, tell me about him. Has he traveled? Oh yeah, he's been to Turkey, or he's been to Saudi Arabia. No, has he been to Europe? Has he been to America, Canada, Australia? Has he spent a lot of time there? Can he relate to your country and your culture from more than what he's seen on NBC2? Like,
Mm.
there needs to be some sort of experience on his side. Going to
Yeah,
Turkey is not going to be any experience with a European country. I'm sorry, no.
yeah, that's true. I agree with you. But on the other side, it's very hard for the Egyptian men to travel. That it's not that easy. Like
I
only.
think that also depends on the person, because
Mm,
it's hard for the lower class to travel, and this is a very classist society.
mm,
But if you are of the upper middle to upper and elite classes, it's extremely easy for them to get a visa and go out, because the only thing is you have to just show you have a certain amount of money in your bank account, that you
yeah,
have property here, and they want to just see that you have some sort of ties to Egypt, that you're not going to be likely to be a person that's going to overstay a visa somewhere else.
fine. I agree with you. But if you are not rich, if you don't have the money, so you are not able to travel. That's what I mean. And here is a lot
Yeah.
of guys who is very poor, almost on the street, and still are tricking the foreigner woman to marry them for the purpose to go out from the country.
That is very true, and then it's up to the woman to educate herself before getting mixed up in something like that.
Exactly. That's our job. That's what we are doing.
Yeah, if you're, seeing a guy that he works as a shisha waiter, you might want to think about, your future, and other than like smoking massel all day.
It's very funny. But most of
Yeah,
the
or someone
women,
who's like a dolphin trainer, or working in the Hurghada, Sharm, Dahab
yeah.
resorts. Yeah, good luck with that.
But most of the European women are falling for these type of men because, of course, when they are going to Egypt, so they are going to the touristic places. So there they are falling in love.
Yeah, yeah, I don't blame them. They don't know any better. And when you come here and you have that kind of experience, and you haven't really lived here, I mean, it's common knowledge in the Egyptian community and the long-term expat community
Mm,
that the men in these areas are scammers. Like, that is the majority. Not all, of course, there's always exceptions, always, always. But I'm going to say
true.
like 99%, they want an iPhone, they want a laptop, they want a visa, or they want sex. That's it.
Yes, I agree
Yeah.
with you, really. Yes, that's I always say, like, men, not, don't marry from the touristic place. Simply, if you know marry Egyptian, okay, but go to the Cairo, go to Alexandria, go to any city, but to the city, to the true Egypt, not in the tourist places.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I always try to stay away, especially when I was, dating and everything here before I met my husband,
Hmm.
stay away from men in the tourist industry, if working as a tour guide or working in any kind of tourist,
Hmm.
establishment. No.
Okay, and you still didn't tell me about your first mother-in-law.
Oh, well, it's American. Well, technically, my first ex-husband was Greek American,
Mm-hmm.
and his family was American. And yeah, she was pretty much a nightmare too, but she was less of a drama queen than FF was. Her name was Barbara,
Okay.
and she worked as a housekeeper. And I was really young when I started dating her son. I was 16,
Hmm.
and he
Very
was like,
young.
yeah, he was 23 at the time. I've always liked older men,
Mm-hmm.
And um, we got married when I was 18. She was against the marriage, she was against the relationship, which I understand why now looking back. She was, very rude to me all the time. She treated my family horribly. She cussed out my mother on our wedding day for
Oh
like
my God.
absolutely no reason. Just nothing could ever be perfect. She was really jealous. I was in really good shape in this time of my life. I used to run track and cross country in high school. So I had like a perfect slim figure. And she'd always tell me, if I had your body, I'd be doing something else for a job. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my
And
God.
she was just really nasty.
Mm. Ah, thanks God that these bad memories are behind you, and now you have a good mother-in-law.
Oh yeah, my mother-in-law now, she's so super chill and like she's just this sweet little lady that sits in her chair and reads the Quran and prays all day, and always making like basbousa and cooking up for the family and just smiling, always has a smile plastered on her face. And
That's very
she's just
nice. Yeah.
so calm. She's so calm and sweet and just always asking about me, how you doing? How is everything? Do you need anything? Always sending us home with food and cookies and stuff. She's just a dream.
Yeah. That's very amazing thing to have really mother. It's actually a very luck, big luck.
I was worried when I went to meet, her for the first time and meet Amir's family for the first time. I was like, oh, hopefully this is not going to be another like psycho family because
Yes.
everybody else I've met in this country has been crazy as hell. Like everybody's so crazy. I hope that she's normal. I hope the family's normal. I was so nervous, like, because I really liked Amr. I'm like, I really like this guy. I want to marry this guy. Please, please, God, let this work out. And it did. I'm like, oh, thank God. The first
Yeah.
meeting went perfect. Everybody was nice. Nobody was asking me a million questions or like trying to like scold me or give me unwanted advice or try to like be rude. No, everybody was super, super cool and nice and calm and welcoming, very welcoming. And everybody spoke English, which I was really thankful for.
Mm. That's amazing, actually. Yeah, it's very nice. But
I
one
didn't
thing came
I
on
didn't
my.
want to marry into another family that didn't speak English.
Yeah, I know why. Even I'm sure that now
Yeah, I
you.
couldn't, I just can't picture my whole life having my husband translate my conversations family. Sure, I want to learn Arabic, but that takes time and I'm 32 years old. It's not like going to be super easy at my age
Mm.
learning another language, not like it would be in my 20s when my brain was still ripe. Now I'm
Mm.
hired, I'm a kid, I've got, household chores going on. I've got to cook, I got to clean, I've got other things
Sure,
going on in hobbies and things.
of
I don't have
course.
time to be learning a language every single day. So I don't want to marry into a family that they don't understand me. And also education, like you said, I would like them to be educated. I want to talk, to my family and be able to communicate with them
Mm.
for the rest of my life. I don't want to have translations. And
Yeah,
I'd
I
like to know what
understand.
people are saying.
Yeah, sure. That's very important. Well,
Yeah.
but one thing came on my mind now, and I want to discuss. Do you think that a lot of Egyptian men are listening to their mother?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, very important
Most definitely.
because this is the
I
thing
will
we.
say that the mother comes first for a lot of men, depending. I mean, my husband, I would say like me and his mom are like on equal footing, but she's not a drama queen. I'm not a drama queen. So in a way, my husband is lucky too because his mother and wife get along beautifully. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not put in an off position where he has to choose. But
Yes.
if you're in a relationship with a guy whose family is crazy and his mother-in-law or his mother is like a psychopath and she's like constantly berating you and giving you a hard time, don't be surprised if he doesn't take your side all the time or even just ignores it like it's not happening because a lot of them, especially the ones who aren't that educated, are like severely brainwashed where they think that their mother is like the top of the planet, okay, and that she can't do wrong even when she's clearly insane.
I understand. It must be very hard for the men, to be in the middle, and now the women are fighting. I understand it must be very hard for the men. But on the other side, I guess that the
Yeah, it is.
men should be in the middle, Don't make the mother up or the wife up to make it like some middleisms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
There
guess
has
so.
to be like some sort of middle ground. I think it's hard for a man to get involved between like family conflict like this.
Yeah.
And but at some level though, he's going to have to at some point when you are married to somebody and you have a family with this woman and you see that she is being so emotionally abused by your mother, you have to at some point be a man, okay? You have to
Yes.
at some point stand up for your wife and like talk to your mom and be like, "Hey, I understand that you don't like my wife, but she's not going anywhere. This is how it's going to be, and I
Mm.
love you both. And for my sake, can you both get along? Can you just try to be nice? Like, have a conversation. Don't just like let it keep happening because that is just so unhealthy for your wife, for you, and for any of your children that you'll have because they're going to see this kind of relationship and they're going to grow up thinking this is normal in a family dynamic. And it's not normal, it's not healthy, it's extremely damaging.
That's true. I agree, but I guess that not a lot of Egyptians are doing so. A lot of Egyptians, from my
No.
opinion, simply put the mother first. And whatever the mother say, they agree. Even if it's absolutely insane and she's not right, but they will agree with her because she's the mother. And they will go against the
Yeah.
wife. And this sad truth about the Egyptian
Yep.
people.
I know. I went through it with my ex, and that's
Yeah.
exactly why I left him. Well, one of many reasons why. There's like a huge list of reasons why I
Yeah,
left him.
okay.
But 3 months of
I
that
can imagine.
circus,
Burnt your
yeah,
life.
that was like that. Yeah, it was 3 months of my life I'll never get back, and it felt like much longer than 3 months. It felt like 3 years. It was horrifying. Every day was just a
Mm.
constant battle. And I can't imagine living like that for the rest of my life. And I told myself, I cannot see this like for the rest of my life. I came to Egypt for, peace and finding like Islam and like a change in
Mm-hmm.
myself. There's no way
Yes.
I can go down this road with this guy. He's a psycho. His family's crazy, and everybody's just rude and mean and just cold. And this is not what I want my experience and my life in Egypt to be like. And
Yeah, I
I
understand. Yes.
stayed single for a long time after that, and I'm glad I did. I met a lot of people, but I decided then and there, I made a list, and I'm like, okay, this is my list of what I want in my husband and future family, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to settle for less. And I did. 3.5 years later, I met my husband, and he checked every box on the list. So did his family. So I got really lucky with that. But all that waiting was really worth it. And
Yeah, sure.
I just can't imagine staying in an unhappy marriage with you know really mean
Mm.
in-laws. I can't. No.
Yeah, I can confirm that you did the right decision, that you left your eggs and you was waiting, you was patient, and God brings you to your life the thing which you wanted the most. Like a gift, actually, for what you have been through. It's a very nice.
Yeah, it was enough.
Mm.
It was enough. I mean, I did some minor dating, in between then and my husband now. I had like one minor serious relationship with a Saudi guy, and that didn't really go anywhere. So
Mm.
I had fun though. I got to travel during this time. I got to see other countries and, travel to other Middle Eastern countries. So that was nice.
Yeah,
So, I was killing time doing
perfect.
productive things and seeing the world, meeting different people from all over. And it was experiences I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's enough,
And I never would have gotten to do any of that.
Yeah. As long as you're happy in the life, so you are on the right way.
Yeah. And I hope for any women that might be listening that if they find themselves in a situation where I know that you love your husband and but maybe his family it's not good and maybe he's always taking her side, the mother's side, it's probably not going to change.
Yes,
It's
I
not going to
agree.
get better. So I guess you're going to have to ask yourself, do you want to stay in this kind of situation or do you want to leave and take your chances with somebody else?
Exactly.
Up to you.
I guess that for the women who are listening, us, they should be brave. If they are in the situation, simply take the courage and do the step and move forward. Don't stay in some unhappy
There's a
environment.
100 million Egyptians. You know, there's like a lot in this country. You don't worry about this one. There's more, okay? You can
Sure.
go find another guy who's going to be better. He's going to be amazing. He's going to treat you like a queen and treat his mom like a queen, but not in a way where you're going to be at conflict with each other. You can find a nice guy with a nice family who's not a crazy.
Mm.
These things do exist. There are educated families and men here. There's a lot. And anyone listening, I have two single guys that I know that are in their early 40s that are amazing and have amazing families and educated and they're single. So any single ladies, leave a comment if you're
Mm-hmm.
interested, and I will
Okay.
see about that.
It's very nice. I will remember it.
Yeah, it always irritates me. My husband has like his two best friends, right? Kamal and Ayman, and they've been single, and I'm wondering to myself, why are these two great guys like
Mm.
single, and they could be like the best husbands ever, but
Yeah.
I keep seeing all these horrible guys that working as the shisha waiters and dolphin trainers getting all the foreigners. I'm like, what's going on here? Don't y'all want like an educated guy with financial security and nice life with a nice family who's not crazy and educated and they all go and travel the world? Wouldn't you rather have that? I don't understand.
No,
I
I
don't get it.
I do. You know why? Because the bad guys are the perfect of the seducing. You know?
And it is like a part-time job for them. A lot of them, they do this for a
Yeah.
living and
They are not
have more than one
shy.
girl at one time.
Yes. You
They're
know,
not,
they are not shy, and they will show the woman that the paradise on the earth. So every from the Europe will fell in for it. Very easy. But the good guys, they are like shy. They don't want to speak that much to the woman or flirt her. So that's the problem. I guess so.
no, not these guys. No, they're not shy at all. At all. Zero shyness. They're just
Zero?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, zero. I think their issue is they don't really go online like all the scammers do. They
Mm.
just live their life. They travel a lot. They've all been to, they've both been to America and Europe and like all over. So they're just not big on the online dating. And that's unfortunately where you're going to find most of the expats looking for, a Muslim
Yes.
husband.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why, and they're not fit for Egyptian girl. Okay, they've tried dating the Egyptian girl, like to see about marriage, like relationship leading to marriage, and it never worked out because they couldn't find anyone like open-minded, liberal-minded like they are, and they're more, I guess, Americanized because of their upbringing and traveling extensively, a lot like my husband. So there are this class of men that exist here, but I keep telling them, you need to get online because that's where all these other guys are going when they're finding Stacy from New York or Karen from Minnesota and bringing her over here. You could do it.
Maybe it's your future job, Amira. Maybe you will be the one who will match them together. The foreign woman with the guys
I've
which you
tried.
know. Yeah, it's good.
I've tried, but unfortunately, most of the women I know are, older than them and, already have kids. And, these
Mm.
guys, they want to marry someone a little bit younger and have kids and have a family. And they're not ready to get into a ready-made family. They don't want to marry
Yeah.
someone that already has children because it's expensive here. Well, I mean, let's get real. Even though these guys, they're financially secure, but I mean, you're talking about school fees for the kids she already has, plus another one that he wants. That's expensive. It's really
Yeah,
expensive.
that's true.
And they're doing it right, though, because Islamically, the man has to provide for any children that she has and his. So they're being correct when they're saying, hey, I want to do my Islamic duty and take care of, her kid and whatever kids we have, but I can't, be equal and do all of that. I don't have the means, so I'm not going to pursue that. That's right. That's the correct thing. Then leading her on for something you can't give her, that's not fair.
So it's fair, but this is a topic for maybe another podcast, Ameera, because right now we're out of the time. So I guess
Yeah.
this is for another time.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah. I told you I could just keep talking and talking. I love to talk all day.
Yeah, I know, but this is a good topic. Remember it, and we'll make it another time because we can speak about it
Sounds good.
more deeply. You know? Okay,
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay,
Well, it's a
great.
pleasure to meet you, like always. Thank you so much.
Always. Anytime.
Thank you. Okay.